Annyeong, it's Mikey here. And guys, thank you so much for all the support. We're almost at 5,000. Thank you again. And hopefully we can hit that goal very soon and see this channel grow even more. Now today I want to thank Kzzi. I don't really know how to pronounce it except say Kzzi. They sent me out their K98. So let's go straight into the unboxing and please make sure to like and subscribe. Starting off with the unboxing of the Kzzi K98 retro themed gaming keyboard. So first things off, the box itself is a very simple box. It's not really like your high quality packaging. It really is very, very simple, plain. Pretty much what you're thinking of when you're getting a budget keyboard. The cable itself is your basic rubber cable. You're not getting a coiled or braided cable on this board. And you get a really large manual. And in terms of the accessories box, you don't even get extra switches, which unfortunately is not a great thing. I think that's kind of a big downer because extra switches always helps. Now, as you can see, this board does give you a huge like Rainy 75 vibe, especially with the color match as well. Like it's pretty much very identical. To be fair, a lot of companies do this kind of color matching with their keycaps and keyboard. The board itself is really well sturdy built. And of course, we're gonna have to weigh this thing before we go into a sound test. So this thing is 1.17. Sorry about the lighting, but that's how much it weighs. So before we go into the full thing, I'm just going to remove all the keycaps to show you guys that this is a flex cut PC plate. So it is a PC plate. It does have a little of like a grainy feel to it. Doesn't have a lot of play, I'm going to be honest. You don't have a lot of push, even though it's supposed to be a flex cut, which is kind of surprising when you think. But to be fair, a lot of these flex cuts I feel like aren't really done super well. It is a plate mounted stabilizer. So as you can see here, it is plate mounted. I'm going to show you guys to see that it is pre-lubed, so these stabilizers are coming pre-lubed. It doesn't look like it heavily, like when you take a look straight at it. Once I pull up the actual stabilizer stem, you can actually see that the lube is inside. So the outer side where the wire is not really lubed, but the inside is, which actually helps a lot because this stabilizer does sound really nice and you don't get a lot of tinging. Now, this has 8 screws you have to remove, and you also have to remove that plate on the back where the USB dongle is. It is taking a lot of work for there, but you will have to remove a lot of screws to get this fully opened. So I thought originally you could just remove the screws on the board itself, but no, you have to remove the plate. So there's two different screws you have to do. One's a hexagonal one, which is for the plate that covers the USB dongle, and then the Phillips one for the rest of the board. So I had to get the top part, had to get a hexagonal one that fit properly. It is a more of a medium-sized hexagonal screw. So keep that in mind. It's not like the really small ones, but it is more of the mid-size hexagonal screws to be removed of the USB dongle area. Then you remove the 8 screws on the board itself. And to be honest, once you do that, it's actually very easy to open. So compared to other plastic boards where you actually have to get the tool to pry open the the prongs, this one, as soon as you remove the screwdrivers, boom, pop, the top lid comes off. Now, as you can see there, this is the top mounted case. So it is a gasket mounted case. And as you can see there, this case, the top case is about 1.7, 1.6 millimeters in thickness. So it's not super thin, but it's not super thick either. And the plastic quality on it is, I'm going to be honest, is not the best plastic quality that I've seen, but it is pretty good. It's not like a super cheap plastic, but it's not your high quality plastic. Now, this is a PC plate with a foam in between the plate and the PCB. As you can see where I'm scratching it, it does have this little graininess on the PC plate itself. And it comes with those little nubbins that are going to go in for the mounting so that it does help with the springs. So one thing I will show you a bit later, of course. Now, there is a pretty thick foam that is completely taped on the back of the PCB. I could not remove it without ripping it. Unfortunately, I'm not able to take it off at all. Now, there is this white sheet that is actually taped on the back, bottom of the board itself, the case. And then you get two 3,150 milliamp hour batteries. Now, I was going to originally mod this with the sound dampening foam. Unfortunately, once you do that and you put it back together, it actually puts too much pressure on the PCB, which then the PCB doesn't work properly and you have keys that are not pressing. It's not even because of the switches, it's actually just because of the pressure. So instead, we're just going to do with a 2-layer tape mod, the best way to do it, which is not the different way of doing things. It really is just a basic way of modding your board, but it does help with the sound, and we're going to put it all together. And of course, I'm going to use the sound dampening foam that I do have, the car sound dampening foam, to put into the spacebar because I find that this helps a lot. You should put not too much though, because if you put too much, it could affect the actual movement of the spacebar. You don't want it to actually take up the space where the stems are, like where the stems will go in. And you also don't want to put too much because what happens is it mutes the sound of the spacebar. What did you guys think of the sound test of this board? Now, gotta admit, the design-wise, so far, as soon as I looked at it, it gave me a lot of that Rainy 75 vibe looks in terms of the design. Sound-wise, I gotta admit, it sounds pretty good. It is like a Thocky keyboard, and of course, with taking a look at the teardown, you saw how it has the leaf spring, so that's really cool, and it has also the flex cut, which honestly, I don't think it really does much. All right, I think nowadays a lot of the plates that have flex cut, I don't think a lot of companies really do it properly. That's my honest opinion. Now, of course, we did mod it. It does sound quite a bit better. The sound dampening foam definitely doesn't fit perfectly inside. It actually does mess it up quite a bit because of the pressure on the PCB. So keep that in mind. You don't want to put too much pressure on your PCB because then some keys won't press and you'll just have a little bit of issues. So let's go in depth to take a look at the switch as well as the backlighting, and then I'll give you guys my final thoughts after. So this is the in-depth view of this board. So as you can see, you have this little plate that covers where the USB dongle would go and the USB port. So USB-C port, which is great. Now the dongle portion is great to see. I do love the fact that they do provide that. The thing is, you don't get the switches for changing different modes for wireless. That is a different thing that I'll have to show you. Now the back does have this really nice design on it. That looks more of like it's like a weight that's added to the board. It does look really nice. This board really gives me a lot of the Rainy 75 vibe, but on like a budget. So the way I could kind of consider it is like a budget full-size Rainy 75. Even the sound that you're getting from this board is almost similar to one, which is quite interesting to see, actually. It is really nice to see that. Now, as you can see here, you're not getting a full size. It's a 98%, so you're actually missing like the print screen, insert, home buttons. You only get the delete, or sorry, you do get the home button, but you're missing like the print screen. So you do get delete, home, page up, page down, and it's all available on that top right. Now, this is the switch that I got with the K98. Now, this is the rain switch, which really reminds me, I'm going to be honest, of the wob key switch from the Rain 75. It is a decent switch. In terms of the quality of the switch, like the build, it's not a super high quality build, but it's decently done. You don't get a lot of stem wobble on this, which is really nice to see. Like you do get some, as you can see here, was I'm doing a bit of a stem wobble test. You do get some, so it's not that you get none at all. There will be some stem wobble, so keep that in mind for yourself. If you are someone that's very sensitive to it, you will see that there is a little bit. And in general, that's doesn't have a light diffuser either, so it only has that slit there on the bottom where the light's going to come through. This board, from what I felt, was quite good in terms of just playing games, like very simply, not crazy like competitive, and typing wise for work. It really felt great to use. And with the numpad, of course, if you are someone that uses it, it is comfortable to use as well. This board really has a comfortable feel for typing wise, and with the different angles you choose, it is really nice of like the sound wise in terms of typing, though the spacebar is kind of on the loud side. Now this is what I meant by it's interesting of how they choose the different modes. You actually have to click the volume button or the volume roller to change to Bluetooth 2.4 or USB. It's not the most convenient way to change modes, which is unfortunate. I think it is actually quite uncomfortable. Now, it would have been nice if they actually had to switch instead. So let me show you the backlighting of this board. Interestingly enough, even though the switches do not have a light diffuser on it, the lighting on this board is incredible. It's super bright. I was quite surprised of how bright the lighting was. As you can see, the color accuracy was fine. You're not going to get a different color hue from the switches, which is a really great thing to see. It is super bright, and they do provide you with many different color options that you can choose from. And of course, once we go into the software, you can also see the different options that you get. But if you are someone who likes backlighting in their board and wants it to be bright, this board definitely provides that. A lot of boards I've tried with switches that don't have the light diffuser, usually the lighting comes a little bit dark and it only comes to the bottom side. This one is super, super bright. As you can see, I'm changing the brightness. My camera is catching all of it. It means it's super bright. Now, let's take a look at the website. So as you can see here, it is on sale. You get a code for 20% off, which means that this board is going to be... I've also actually seen online that's like $20 off. So you can get this board for a really cheap price. Like I'm talking about somewhere between like $65 to $70 USD for a full-size Thocky board. This thing is hot swap, right? You get the aluminum scroll wheel, and this thing comes with the leaf spring. So that's what I meant by it's comfortable to type on, is with the leaf spring that they added on the board, it's actually incredibly comfortable. You don't get like the flex that you get in some boards, but you get a nice typing feel from it. I didn't feel any finger fatigue while using this board, and it really did feel incredibly comfortable. Now, this board is with the cherry profile PBT keycaps, and it is double shot. So that is something really great to see. And
The thing is, these these keycaps are not shine through, so keep that in mind. And it does have the 6,300 milliamp hour battery, but the charging time is quite long. It's supposed to be 12.5 hours to have full charge, which is a really long time to have to charge your board. That is not something that I like to see. You do not want a board that takes too long to charge, especially if you plan to use it wirelessly more often than you are planning to use it wired. So keep that in mind for yourself. Now, let me show you where you can find the software. Now, I was looking, usually a lot of websites, it's on the bottom. The best way to find this is go all the way to the top, click on support, and then click on use manual driver. I will also have this linked in my description for you guys, so you can easily grab the link for yourself if you do get one or if you do have one. This is the web driver. I thought the web driver could possibly work, but no, this is only for their Hall effect board. You actually have to go to driver, so web driver, and then go to driver, and then you have to download the Kzzi hub. Right, you can check there. It shows you which boards are supported. Download whichever you have, Windows, Linux. You can also do one for Mac, but I don't have a Mac that could test this on, so just keep that in mind for yourself. You download the Windows version, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like after it's been fully downloaded. So as you can see here, this is the Kzzi software. It is your very basic software. You're not able to change like the sizing of it, but as you can see here, you do get a ton of different lighting options. You get brightness options and speed options. You also get a specific section where you can change the mapping on the keys. It is a very, very basic software. You're not getting a ton of customizations like VIA and others. One thing I did notice is that, and I was trying to find, was whether you could do like FN toggle. Unfortunately, I could not find a place you could do FN toggle. So keep that in mind. You just get the basic, you get extended. So you do get an FN, like so FN1 layer and FN2 layer. That's the max you get. So it's 2 FN layers. And then you get the special characters. So like play, pause, volume, stuff like that. Now, one thing I also noticed is that you can't really have the languages showing for the function layer. So once you go into the function layer, you will see that it's actually in Chinese. And I'm not sure why. I made sure to see if I was in English, and it was. Yet those are all in Chinese. So something to keep in mind for yourselves. It is one of those things that I feel like more software companies really should just do VIA, which would be so much easier to do. But unfortunately, some companies like to have their own software, which I do understand the pull to do so, because I think people might want to have it. But if it's not going to be supported really well, I don't think it's the best option. Now, checking with Keyboard Inspector, we are getting 1,000 polling rate. And when I was playing video games, I didn't have issues with latency. Specifically, I was using it wired because I don't think using wirelessly is best for gaming. 1,000 hertz is enough.
So where would I place this board? And I think a lot more, I'm gonna, as more boards I keep testing out, I want to give you guys a little bit more of like a tier list of what I would suggest in terms of for people out there looking for a board. Now this is the full size plastic board. So and of course, out of all the full size boards, just full size, I have the Lumen K98 that I've tried. I have the Acco 5098B. There was the Kzzi. There was also the Gamma K. So, and then there was the Vibe 99. Now, all those full size, so many. Where would I place this one? Now, the software was just your basic software. It's your mediocre software. I'm going to be honest, a lot of the base softwares that a lot of companies are using, I honestly don't like it. I would prefer more companies just using VIA. I think that would be the better play. Now, in terms of the price range, this is going to be the cheapest board on sale. Like, it comes out to like, I've seen it on sale for about 70 USD or even cheaper. So definitely, if you're looking at more of a budget route, this is probably going to be your best bet. You're going to be fine playing video games with this, of course. And in terms of like using it at work or and such, you won't have any issues. Though changing from the wireless, from like pressing this button, I personally am not a fan of it. I don't think it's the best route to go about it. It's an interesting way to do it, but it is a little bit more uncomfy. To be honest with you, with like trying to change it is a lot more uncomfy than having just a switch that goes through Bluetooth, dongle, and then wired. That is probably the least favorite way for me to do it on my own. I would rather have just like have a switch that you turn on and then just keep it on, or have a switch actually available on the top where you can switch it around. So that's my personal preference. I don't think the clicking is the best way. Now, of course, I do want to provide you a sound test comparison between all the different keyboards. So let's quickly do that and then come back. Now, coming back to the final thoughts of this board and where I want to place it on the whole tier list. Out of all of them, of course, Lumen Key is going to be like the highest tier because you're getting a fully really nice quality board that has the numpad switchable and it's fully aluminum. I would say the Akko 5098B in terms of just pure sound quality and the quality of the board, I'll put that number 1. But the software for Akko, I'm going to be honest, is not great. That's just my honest opinion. The software for the Akko and the Lumen Key both are really just mediocre. Not really my favorite. Something I would wish they actually did something else with. In terms of just pure sound, yeah, I'll put the Akko there. For comfortability, I would say Kzzi is going to be on the top as well, like right where the Akko is. I'm going to put them actually in more of a tied spot because the Kzzi also has a VIA. Now, the fact that it has VIA actually gives it a huge plus for me. And the sound on that was really good as well. So where I place this one, I would place this in number 3. And that's because taking into consideration everything, right? You have to consider the price, you have to consider the sound, the usage of it, and like in terms of software, everything. I would place this at number 3. And that's because, you know, again, Lumen Key metal. So if we take out Lumen Key, number 1 is going to be the Akko and the Kzzi tied up first. And then the Kzzi at number 2. And that's because, again, the price is really great. You're getting a really Thocky board that is built quality-wise. The plastic is not the best quality plastic, but you're getting a good board. You get the full numpad, you get the full experience, you get the tri-modes, and for gaming-wise, it works completely fine. So take a look. I'll have the links in the description. And of course, go check out the other videos I got. And I'll see you guys next time.